So as you can see, I'm enjoying nature here at the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, and as I said, I'm going to be interviewing a soil scientist. Soil science is one of the crucial parts or one of the integral parts when it comes to agricultural productivity. My guest for today has a diversified, I would say, profile and is also an expert in soil science. Today I'm going to be speaking with Madam Na Koteiko Amon, who is a soil scientist and also an agronomist at the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority. They are proudly sponsored by TIAS Group and also powered by Agronomist. So if you would want to follow us on all our social media handles, please kindly go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram, which is at Agronomist. And also TIAS Group is sponsoring this program. TIAS Group is committed to providing financial support, technical support, as well as off-take support for agri-businesses. Please stay tuned. When we come back from the break, we'll move on with the show.
Want to own an agro-processing factory, but held by financial and technical challenges? TIAS got you covered. We assured of 80% financial support. You only need an investment of 20%. Aside that, you get technical support, ranging from machine design, manufacturing to installation, with a guaranteed off-take support. Own a factory today. TIAS Group, more value for agriculture.
Hello, welcome from the short break. This is time with an agribusiness giant. My guest is seated on my left side, and I'm going to be speaking with her on soil scientists, Madam Na Koteiko Amon. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on Agronomist.
You're welcome.
How's it been so far?
So good. Not so bad. It's good. Though it's not easy, but it's well.
Okay, so you as a female in soil science, we know that sciences are for the men, but how has it been as a woman or as a female in soil science?
It's been challenging because you are surrounded with most men, but they've also given you support because they know that, yes, women are weaker vessel, but we can also do better.
Okay.
Yes.
So we know
I
you
get
to
encouragement
from the men.
Yes.
Okay. So we know you to be a soil scientist.
Yes.
I mean, tell us a brief profile about yourself.
Okay. My name is Na Koteiko Amon. I had my secondary education in Vansman Girls Secondary School.
Girls?
Yes.
Wow, that's one of the best guys schools in Ghana.
Yeah. And then had my tertiary education, University of Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Both the first degree and the second degree in soil science.
So the second degree was also in soil science?
Yes.
Same as the first degree?
The first degree is BSc Agriculture. Okay. Do I major in soil science? And then the second degree, I did soil science, MPhil.
Okay.
In soil science.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell us about soil science. When we talk about agriculture, what comes into mind is farmers. We are looking at stakeholders, agricultural experts. But you being a soil scientist, I know, working in the soil space, you are really playing an integral part or a crucial role in promoting agricultural productivity. So what is the main aim of soil science?
Just like it's a science.
Okay.
So the soil is a natural body, it's a collection of natural bodies. And as we know, it's to support plants' growth, productivity. But the other aspects of it, which we have not really looked at, like land management, waste disposal, all these are things, mining, all those areas are issues that come under soil science.
Okay.
So soil is not only for agricultural activity, but it also is diversified. We have pedology, which is the soil genesis, morphology, we have soil mineralogy, we have soil chemistry, soil physics, soil survey. So there are various areas in soil science.
So which area are you focused in, or you are having a collection of them all?
Yes, but I major in soil chemistry and the fertility of the soil. But from the time that I came, I've been working, so I have knowledge of also soil genealogy, like pedology. doing soil survey, all those areas. Just that you major in one area, but you are also conversant with the various aspects because it's embodiment, it's integrated science, which moves people into various disciplines. So it's not only, you are not only limited to agri.
Okay.
You can be in the mining sector, you can be in the land management, with any natural resources, even with water. All those places are areas where a soil scientist can be.
Okay. So you made mention of maybe areas where there are water resources. The soil science comes into play.
Yes.
So at GIDA,
Yeah.
you would want to construct a dam somewhere.
Yeah.
Does your field come into play?
Yes. We earmark areas that are, let me say, as part of our work, to survey areas that are earmarked for irrigation.
Oh, okay.
And as to see whether the place is feasible, and then the land use of the area, where as to there are areas, let me say, you think it's okay, but when you do also you take soil samples and then you analyze and interpret it as to whether maybe the place is better for agricultural purpose, or maybe possibly it will be used for building, construction, houses or something.
Okay.
So if possibly maybe you have a large area and then the area is not well, there is no analysis of the soil being taken, or even there to know even the depth as to whether it can hold water. All these things are things which we dive into.
Okay.
So in general, what I'll say is it's important that these areas are taken into account before, because not only after, like, not for irrigation. Irrigation is very broad.
Yeah.
Yes, we have for infrastructure as to whether the kind of soils that are there that can hold the water, the dam, and also even the land development, the use of the land, areas which may be sandy, loamy, clayey, what type of crops will be appropriate. All these are things that we look to. And then if there are issues with soil problems which needs reclamation, or let me say redefining the use of the area, all these things are things we look to come into play.
Okay. All right. So soil sciences deals with a lot of investments. You need a lot of resources. Are you resourced as a soil scientist?
We have IDC.
Okay.
Which is the, let me say, research wing of the authority.
Okay.
That's Irrigation Development Center. Is undergoing rehabilitation. Through GIDA, we had some facilities which were, over the years, they stocked it with various equipment. However, some have gone obsolete. But with the coming in force of private, let me say, partnership, like Jospon, other they are coming to rehabilitate to the center to furnish it with the needed equipment. Nevertheless, we also collaborate with other institutions like University of Ghana. Okay. So where we are found wanting, we liaise with them to do some of the analysis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are still watching Time with an agribusiness giant, and today we are looking at soil science. I'll be speaking to Madam Koteiko Amon, and we'll be looking at soil science in Ghana. I'll be going back to her shortly to look at, what can we do as a country to make the soil science field more resourceful, or to invest more into it. We know that government policies and all that has to be geared towards improving the agricultural sector, and soil science is one. Yeah. So, Madam.
Yes.
So tell us, you've made mention of the IDCs. Yes, that is okay. But to you as a soil scientist, what do you think government should be doing to promote more soil science in Ghana?
It starts from acknowledging the resources we have.
Okay.
Natural resources. Soil is a natural resource, just like water, and then we know it's a scarce resource. Whenever we misuse the soil, we should know that it really affects us.
Okay.
In terms of what we input, because food and all that you take in comes from the soil. So if you don't take care of what is in the soil, then what will you eat?
Yes.
The inputs you put into the soil is what will give you the output. So it's important that we really look at the soil science and then look at soil, because soil is related to everything is grounded on soil.
Okay.
So it's important that we look into it and then, let me say, admonish more students to go into it. It's related. It's not only, it has applied, let me say, applied related courses.
Okay.
Yes. So it's not isolated.
Okay.
That's
Right.
what I've said.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
So with GIDA, yes, with GIDA, how long have you been here?
14 to 15.
Wow, that's quite inspiring. I guess by now many people would want to, I mean, follow the route that you took to become a soil scientist, because I believe soil science is really, really lucrative, like plant breeding.
Yeah.
Would you say it's true? Is it very lucrative?
Yes, but it's not so known.
Okay.
It's not so known. It's only when people see issues with soil having challenges that they realize that it's important. So with this medium we want to advocate that they need to realize that soil is very important.
Okay.
It is what you eat. It is what you build. I mean, everything surrounding you
It's soil.
is also.
So let's educate our farmers. So when you take a soil, I mean, let's say a loamy soil where it's able to grow crops,
Yeah.
what are some of the components or some of the essential ingredients or nutrients you have to find in the soil?
It should contain minerals, mineral nutrients needed for the growth of the plant. It should be able to retain water at the needed, that is where irrigation, to be able to take the correct amount of water, whereby excesses will not, will not be wasting water.
Okay.
You make judicious use of the water. It should also have organic matter.
Okay.
Yes, which supports the structure of the soil.
Okay.
Yes, and then microorganisms.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes we say it's not all these things, worms and those things. They all help in aerating the soil, to enrich the soil, because these are things that are needed for the productive growth of crops.
So organic matter, organic fertilizers, compared to inorganic fertilizers, which one are you going for?
I'll go in for organic.
Organic.
Yes.
But are we there to use only organic fertilizer? Because I know that for the inorganic, most of them are not friendly to the soil. Yes, but then are we to that extent where we can see that we can use only organic, matter or organic fertilizer for the soil?
I would say we are not yet there, but we can get there.
We can get there.
But as much as possible, we want to retain the structure of the soil to ensure that it's able to grow the needed crops that we need. It's important that we put in more organic matter. And then fertilizer, the inorganic is needed, but we need to apply the appropriate quantity at the right time. What happens is that overuse of fertilizers, they put in, because analysis, in actual fact, when you have a soil and it's supporting growth, you need to sometimes take samples of it to check as to whether the nutrient content is okay.
Okay.
Sometimes farmers over applied the fertilizers, and when the content is high, it leads to depreciation, like you've gotten to the maximum and then it depreciates.
Yeah.
And therefore you put in more fertilizer and yet the crop is not growing because it's doing harm to the plant. So it's important that we balance it. For now that we've not reached this thing, we can still apply the inorganic because it's much faster, but at the same time ensure that the organic matter, which takes time, but at the same time retains the soil, is applied at the correct time.
Okay. So my very last question: climate change. I mean, one of the global issues that is trending now. How is it affecting soil science?
With climate change, it has both negative and positive effects.
Okay.
The negative change is that it leads to possibly drought, which will also certainly affect the soil, because decomposition, what is needed, moisture content that is needed, is not able to take place effectively to ensure the needed quantity or quality of the soil. You are able to ensure rainfall where you have to apply the correct nutrients is done, irrigating at the correct time. In actual fact, with irrigation, you can crop all year round.
Okay.
But you have to know what quantity of fertilizer, whatever nutrients you're applying in terms of fertilizer, taking in also diseases and pests. These are things all that affect crops. It has effect with climate change.
Okay. Yeah.
During the dry season, we have high incidence of pests and diseases, and therefore they affect the crop. We have this, is it maize? There is a need for us to take measures to counteract.
Well, but before we end the interview, I would want you to send some words to students, students who are maybe in the senior high school who would want to, do agriculture in a tertiary. I mean, many people shy away from doing agriculture in a tertiary. They end up, after writing the WASI, they buy the forms and they don't apply for agriculture in the tertiary, although they study agriculture in senior high school. So, what are your words for them?
I'll say in Ghana, for instance, agriculture is the driving force of the nation. And therefore, I will urge all students who would to venture, because it's a big business, it's a lucrative business in terms of agriculture. And therefore, when you know you are more knowledgeable with areas, you are not only limited, soil science not only limited to agric.
Okay.
So they should know that there are various aspects of the soil science which, when they enter into, they can branch into, like I'm saying, the land management, resource forestry. All these are avenues that they can have access to be more productive to our nation, Ghana.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I go into it.
Yeah. So I find this very, very detailed information to viewers. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wish you more prospects as you continue in your field as a soil scientist.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. I have had some insightful interview with Madam Na Koteko Amon, who is a soil scientist and also an agronomist at the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, GIDA. We spoke about soil science and how it is important in improving agriculture. Agriculture really centers on a lot of driving factors for it to increase, and farmers really don't play when it comes to soil fertility. And as we've heard from our guest, who is an expert in soil science, we need to bring in more measures to preserve soil fertility. And this is the contribution of you and I. As a farmer, make sure that whatever you are doing on the farm is bringing good health to the soil. My name is Praise Opoku Dugbe. You'll be watching Agro-Riches TV, and you can subscribe, watch, and like this video on YouTube, that is at Agro-Riches, and also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Twitter. You can also follow Agro-Riches. Also, we are proudly sponsored by TIAS Group, an agricultural industrialization company that provides financial and technical support to farmers. So if you want to contact TIAS Group, and if you would want to own a factory, please kindly call the number below the screen. Once again, my name is Praise Opoku Dugbe. This is Time with an Agribusiness Giant. Meet you same time next week. For now, bye-bye.